Welcome back, everybody, to an episode of the Legion Lads. I am your host, JR, and today we got Jose and Rob. What's up, guys?
Hey,
All right, so boys, today first I wanted to bring up game Vet Fest. Are you guys signed up?
Not yet.
Why?
because
I
there's no
haven't had
signups
time.
yet.
Yeah,
Is there no signups?
Yeah,
Oh, there are?
Roman posted in the chat to sign up for it.
I haven't. I haven't even thought to open my phone. And
Wow,
look at
when
that
did he-
stuff.
when did he
I
post
know.
that?
Just letting us down, man.
I know.
Wait, when did he post this?
You know how faithful I am? Ask me if I signed up.
Did you
Did you?
sign up?
No. To be fair, it's not that I'm not going to sign up. I am going to sign up. It's just like
So are we talking buying the ticket or are we talking signing up on
well,
Game
that's the
Up
thing.
slash
Roman
Launchday?
Roman just said it's just hey, just buy the
Yeah,
entry
so
to the Vet Fest and then
yeah. Well, I bought my
it's a
ticket.
tournament. Yeah.
Signed up on the Game Up link yet.
Oh yeah.
Which is
He
going to be
hasn't-
Longshanks.
Yeah, he hasn't put up that yet. So
Yeah.
if you bought the
And I-
ticket, you can
He's
be
still he's doing it through Game Uplink, not long.
No, he's doing a Longshanks. I default.
Oh, okay. I was like, ooh.
I'm probably not going to be playing in game. I'm probably going to be judging because I want to get some practice in.
That's what I was gonna ask. Are you
Yeah.
gonna play?
No, I want a chance to do some judging just because it's different, and so yeah.
I'm not making.
Also, I want to give
calls.
Roman the
Bad.
opportunity to play because he does so much. And maybe he doesn't even want to play, and then I'll just play anyways because I would love to play. But I feel
I'll slip you a 20 for judge
Nope.
call to go in my favor.
No, that's literally not how this works.
I'll drop it on the floor. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, assuming Roman actually likes playing Legion, I'd prefer he gets an opportunity to play because he's literally doing all the work putting this together. He does a ton of stuff for the community, so hopefully, he wants to play. And if not, I'll just play and I'll just win. There you go. So
Okay.
No chill.
Someone wishful thinking there.
Looking Jared in his face. I'll just play and I'll just win.
But yes, guys.
I'll just bring EXD and win. Easy.
Yeah. Hey, we're having a mirror match.
Oh no.
We got the better mirror match.
I'm gonna be honest here. We'll talk about this later,
Yeah,
but I think you would do better with Maul than you would with EXD. I think, and I honestly think I don't know anything about why you didn't go to Worlds, but I'm kind of like I wonder if I had said just bring Maul and win with Maul, if you would have been more likely to go to Worlds than because I was very much like you have to bring EXD if you want to win, and then like a Maul got a top 8. I'm like, oh, that could have been JR.
Yeah,
and I was
honestly, it was even if you had said bring Ma, it was just life happened. And
I know, but I like to put myself down and say no, I'm the reason he didn't go to Worlds. So,
well, I was gonna say was
did you say the date? Did you say the date?
So VetFest July 13th,
Saturday the 13th.
Make sure you guys sign up. All you gotta do is purchase the entrance fee, and then you're eligible to sign up for it. He hasn't put out the sign up for the tournament, but
they will be up.
Yeah, make sure you get your ticket in before they sell out so you can be eligible for the tournament. It is going to be an LVO qualifier. I think it's a GT tournament. Am I wrong?
It is not a GT.
No,
you do not register for GT.
It's just a points qualifier.
No. GT is the AMG thing. No, it is not an AMG GT. And just to sort of speak about VetFest as a whole rather than just the Legion tournament. So the Star Wars Legion tournament is just one thing at Clovis VetFest game, or I think it's Clovis VetFest Game Fest, something like that. And what they do is they have a bunch of different war games, some board games, it's mostly war games, come out and play. The event itself is actually 3 days. So it's on Friday the 12th, Saturday the 13th, where we'll be playing our tournament, and Sunday the 14th. And now your ticket gets you access to all 3 days. So if you want to show up on Friday and maybe play something else, you should have a good time. Last year, I don't know if he got a game in, but Nick brought MCP stuff. Last year I played, I don't think it was X-Wing, but it was some Starfighter game using X-Wing models. It wasn't X-Wing, so that was fun. But just go have some fun. On the Sunday afterwards, and now we're moving into league announcements. The Sunday after VetFest, so Sunday, July 14th, which is still at VetFest, the Legion Lads League is going to be having our finale for this first sort of league season. And at this finale, I'm going to be passing out all the prizes and such. And then what I want to do, and it all depends on you people in the league, is the top 2 players from each league duke it out.
Me.
And then
you said not me.
I've yet to get a win. I'm playing fun and getting smashed by super competitive lists.
So first and second in the Bart League based off where they are at that moment. First and second in the Lisa League where they're at that moment. And then a second round between the two top players of the Bart and Lisa League so that I can watch just to watch that game because it sounds fun. And
I
then
think that'd be more fun than the actual top players of the Lisa League.
Oh, 100%. It'll be more fun. And maybe we make the Lisa League winner play some jank or something to make it even more interesting, but I don't know. I wouldn't do that to anybody but myself. So, but yeah, so that's the plan. So it's going to be 2 rounds that day for those players, but I want everyone to show up and play. There will still be all the tables there. Roman is bringing all of the play kits in. So if you want to get your Ewok cards, JR, they're going to be there. If you want to get Mac Toss and which is the fancy force push, but I don't remember which kit that's from. But yeah,
fancy force push.
Yeah, you have it. It says force push. I just have the German version, which is Mac Toss. Because somebody's like, I think it was even Scott. He's like, "Hey, you want this German force push?" I'm like, "Sure." Yeah, it's the one with Anakin choking Asajj. Yeah. So he's gonna have all those kits.
Maybe I'll take Darth Maul and Asajj. That sounds fun.
Ooh, there you go.
That would be fun.
But yeah, so VetFest
Dooku and Asajj was
14th.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to make a list with them. I just can't. It's so hard.
Yeah, he's on Dooku's the problem.
So I've been playing Invader League, and one of the Blitz season, which is goofy, and I don't want to get too much into it, but one of the guys I faced had in an 800-point list, it was Grievous, Maul, Dooku, and Asajj, and then 3 naked B1s.
Why?
That's the dream team. What's that? 9 sabers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 9.
Tell me it put up a fight.
I mean, he should have won. He should have won, but dice were not in his favor. So I feel like in the smaller games, because dice come up more often, just because you're forced to fight, they matter way more.
Yeah.
And so like it was literally like I just survived more than I should have, and then I just blew him up basically with Black Sun. But I just want to bring that up because I'm like I've made that list before, and I'm like this would never fly.
But it's fun.
It seems fun.
Yeah, it looks fun. I think I played it. I played the 7 sabers before the 9 sabers.
With no Asajj out yet?
Yeah, Asajj wasn't out yet. And I want to play the 9 sabers.
You should bring that to the fest.
I should. I really should.
And then I'm going to make sure every table is completely open. And say, JR, good luck. And he still will win somehow. Don't ask me how, but
yes, guys. So July 13th is when we play the tournament, and then like Rob said, 14th.
14th. So buy your ticket. It's not that bad. I think it's like $25-$30. So
yeah,
just take a weekend off, play some Legion, have some fun.
Yeah, be a good time. Very good time.
It's early enough in the future that hopefully you guys have time to like go to your jobs and say, hey, can I get these days off? And they say yes. So
well, it's the weekend. So
and people work the weekends though. So
yeah, weekends aren't as off as they used to be.
Yeah, that sucks. But yep. So hopefully I'm definitely gonna be going. I just need to buy my ticket already. Yeah, I've been lagging. But yeah, Jose, no excuses. Get up in there.
I'm only gonna be able to play Saturday. Sunday is my daughter's birthday, and the wife already told me I can't do anything. So
happy.
Well, it's not like I have anything to fight for. I'm predicting to through my experimentation of fun lists. I'm expecting to get dropped into the other league, and Noah's gonna take my spot. But my next opponent is Daniel, and because of the trash that he talked about Dooku, I'm thinking about taking a Dooku list against Daniel.
Do it.
I'm thinking about
I think you could do a Dooku list without any other saber or force user, like Dooku and
yeah, for sure,
ones and shit like that behind your back. But yeah, not with another force user. It's just too hard.
I gotta go Dooku and Dekas just to prove a point.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a spicy choice.
But speaking of that, Rob, how's the league going? Give us some stats.
It was okay. So Sunday was awesome. I just want to say shout out to Roman for, I guess 5 different people showed up on Sunday, basically unannounced. 2 legends, and we played games there. And Roman stayed a little bit late after work, and he was very nice about it. Like he could have just kicked us out when they closed, but he let us stay for a little bit longer, which is awesome. So yeah, so Sunday we had myself versus Scott, which went super long because I was being like, I don't know what move I want to do with Vader. And so I had like 4-minute Vader turns every turn. But that's Scott's fault for making me think with Vader. Okay. No, I think actually with chess clock it would have been fine because like I only had one activation where I thought every other activation was like clones, flip token, flip. Well, we'll talk about the battle, but anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, so league is going great. Yeah, did you want me to pull up the current rankings? I can do that.
Yeah, let's know
Yeah,
how
let
everyone's
me just
doing,
do
how
that.
it's going. I
Tell
saw
me I'm in last place.
All right, so currently for the Lisa League, we have 3 players with 3 wins, which is myself, JR, Nick. And then we have 2 players with 1 win, being Daniel and Scott, and then Jose and Roman in the 6th and 7th with 0 wins. In the Bart League,
Hold on,
we've got.
wait, before you go on Barley, did you get my update for the round 4?
What was your update for round 4?
I played against Nick.
Oh, did you beat him?
I beat Nick. Yeah.
Into the well, Nick was cheating though. Remember that?
I was gonna bring that up.
No, I did not. I did not get that. So then, in that case, you have 3 wins, and Nick has 2 wins. So you are in the lead.
I was wondering because you said 3 and 3, and I was like, I don't think that's right, but yeah.
Yeah, and I said 2, 2, and 2, but yeah. So if you beat him, I did not get that. So yeah, so there you go. Nick does have 2 games this set, so hopefully he gets his game in against Scott soon. But yeah, in the Bart League, we've got with 3 wins, we've got Noah, who's apparently clubbing baby seals. Like, I don't know how to play Legion, and then shows up and he's like, "Here's my 3 ATSTs. Good luck."
Yeah. Destroy.
So I hope that next season Noah sticks with it and joins the Lisa League, because otherwise this whole system doesn't mean anything anyways, right? Like,
yeah.
The whole switching doesn't matter until we actually have somebody switch. So so we've got Michael in first, then we've got Noah in first, then we've got Adam, Michael, and John each with 2 wins. And then Brian with 1 win, with Pet and Alejandro with 0 wins right now. So Bart League is looking pretty good as well. And one of the games I think is an upset technically, because Brian beat Michael this set. And so Brian hadn't won a game yet. So that's kind of an upset. So then that's kind of the thing with the league.
Oh, yeah.
Because Michael was 2-0. So
yeah,
that's something you wouldn't normally see in like a tournament. That's why I'm glad we're doing this sort of round robin.
You know what it was?
Everyone thing.
It was the pesky Clone Commandos. That's what it was. Because
I watched Brian's Clone Commandos get shot off the board. That was definitely not why he won.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like
he shot off the board.
Oh, shot off the board because they took 2 fleet shots, 2 full fleet shots. So the fleet shot him, Katarn. Second turn, Michael acts with his fleets first and just shoots him off the board. Like, it was literally like,
will do that.
Yeah, it was like, all right, 10 dice, pierce 1. Good luck.
Yeah.
And then, and Michael had some great rolls. His loot saved. So Brian got 9 shots, and I guess I'm doing their battle rap. So they played. They played. I watched their whole game because my game had finished. Not their whole game. My game with Scott was like at the first. Then they started like an hour later. Then Scott played Daniel that same day. And so after my game with Scott ended, I went over and watched their game mostly because I didn't want to bother Daniel and Scott doing, they're being more meticulous in theory. So I went over there, and then it ended up with being me answering Rose questions for the next hour. And a lot of like, okay, you just did that move, but here's something else you might have considered or might not have. Like, but anyways, so that was fun. But so they played Breakthrough and Breakthrough Rapid Battle Lines. So it was just like Michael had 3 squads on one side of the board. They killed the commandos, and then they sat scoring for the rest of the game. And then the rest of the clone ball was on the other side with Brian, and they just shot up Brian's stuff and slowly moved forward. That kind of came down to Luke dying. Round 3, I think, was when he died, but he died at the end of round 3, and he should have died at the beginning, because Brian got a Padme range 2 fire support into Luke and had, I think it was like 9 hits, and Luke had like 4 wounds already, and then he saved like every single one except for 1, because that's what it was. So Luke took 1 wound there, and then he deflected 2 wounds back.
Was it OP Luke?
OP Luke.
I'm gonna get onto OP Luke here in a minute, but keep on.
Okay, but by the end of the round, Brian had shot him off the board, and Michael just didn't have enough on the side of the board with Brian to shoot off enough of his guys. So like it ended up like breakthrough like 3-6 or something in Brian's favor. So Padmage scored the secret mission there as well, which helped Brian. And I wasn't there for when he made that decision, but that was a great decision. But yeah, so seemed like a fun game. I'll just do my battle rep real quick while I'm here. So I played against Scott. He had triple commandos, Obi-Wan.
On Delta Squad or no?
No Delta Squad.
Okay.
Obi-Wan and 3 phase 1s with medics, and then 1 out of Z, and then I think they both had rockets. Yeah, I think they both had rockets. And then Padme.
That's the way to go.
And we played Sabotage. I had no bid. He had a bid. It was like Sabotage, Major Offensive. And the way the train was set up, I had a Sab entirely behind a building and the other one right in front of that building. And I kind of could have just sat back all game and just shot at him as he tried to enter. But I figured that if I did that, he would be able to push in with Obi-Wan and murder something and win. So instead, what I did...
Have you played against Obi-Wan?
Yeah, Obi-Wan doesn't kill stuff.
He just has to kill something, right? One thing, and then he's winning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I have Vader to sort of stop that, but if I had let his entire army just push in to my Sabotage at the end of the game, I think he would have been able to either just straight number of bodies get onto my Sabotage and hit it, or break it or whatever, hit it or heal it, whatever he's doing, right? Or do something. So instead, what I did is I sort of set my range troopers up on one side. They had a nice LOS blocker that they could hide behind. So they did a lot of shoot, move behind the LOS blocker. And then the next turn was once they activate, they move out and then shoot, so that they were hidden for most of the shots in the game. And then Vader, I used the infiltrate on Vader so that he had to do some thinking about where he wanted to place his guys. I don't think it actually mattered that much in the long run. I don't think he deployed anybody that out of kilter, but in my head, I'm like, if I make him deploy kind of goofy, then maybe Vader does, or maybe that does a lot of what Vader needs to do. The game came down to it basically came down to kill points. I killed 1 commando squad. We shot back and forth. He wasn't able to kill a range trooper. I had 1 down to 2 minis. It took a Now You Will Die on turn 6 to kill a single commando squad. I would still have won on kill points, or sorry, on the tiebreaker, but I was kind of scared he was going to kill something, so I tried to kill something of his. Vader was down to 1 wound at the end of the game. He got 2 shots on the 1 wound Vader, and both of them basically whiffed down to 1, and I rolled 1 save, and I saved both times. So, there's a little bit of luck there. But his saves were insane as well. It's like I had 5 hits on his commandos, saves 5 or saves 4, and that happened like 3 or 4 times throughout the game. And it's just like, all right, well, there's literally nothing I can do here. And so it was just a lot of saves, not a lot of deaths. So it was a very boring, meticulous game where I would threaten to move Vader up and then force him to reconnoiter his entire army so that he's not moving towards my Sabotage. He's instead doing other stuff, trying to get away from Vader or position around Vader. But yeah, it was just one of those games. He could have taken another shot at Vader that probably would have killed him too. So,
did you ever go into melee with the commandos with Vader?
Not in this game. I couldn't. There was no way. He kept so there was a building that Vader was hiding in, and so we didn't talk about train before the game. This was a building where you could stand in the doorway and then be in range 1 of somebody on the other side. So he kept force pushing Vader away. I assumed you couldn't stand in the doorway. So it was just one of those things where it's like, okay,
pushing you in the building
away. So he kept pushing me backwards, so I couldn't get into melee with his range troopers. It's because I've only moved 2, so he pushed me and moved 1 away every turn. Then I move forward, and then it's like, all right, well, I'm not going to be out in the open for an entire turn. Or for an activation, even.
Well, couldn't you just force push them into you?
No, there was never a moment where I could. my Vader turns took very long, and the reason is because I kept trying to do shenanigans. I kept trying to force push them into me. I tried to do it on a implacable turn, but even on a implacable turn, there was no way to make it work. So,
did you ever go into melee with Obi-Wan then?
Obi-Wan was behind a building the entire time, and there was no way to walk into him, even with the force push.
So he's force pushing you away.
The one turn I could have made it into melee with Obi-Wan was his turn where he had the 6 dodges, and I was like, "There's no point." So,
okay. Yeah, I have to see like the table, but I
yeah,
it was.
It was
puzzled by Vader and not in melee.
I know. All I wanted to do with Vader that game was get him into something, but it just there was no way to make it happen.
Yeah.
Maybe if I had infiltrated him onto the other side of the board, I could have done something, but the way the game played out, where I placed him at the beginning, he basically did nothing but look scary and force his army to not move into my VAPs all game. So.
That's good awareness on Scott's part, man. To
He's
block you out like
player.
that.
He's a great player, yeah. I mean, we met at Worlds, so it's not like he's a slacker or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a good game. It came down to the wire there, so because Vader almost died, and then there's no way I was getting enough kill points to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Clones are too defensive. This was my first game with my list against Commandos. Not technically, but it felt like it because like the last time I played Commandos, and now you will die on turn 1.
Yeah,
so that doesn't really count in my opinion because I didn't get to actually see what the Commandos do. They're scary, especially if I think that they're scarier in range 2, but they're scary enough in range 4 for my list because I am very plink susceptible with my lists, all of them, because I don't have a lot of things on the board. So like if you're fighting B1s, you're going to be in range 2 and just blowing them off the board because you get 8 black, right? But I have 3 units of range troopers, and that's all I have on the board that does anything that you're going to be able to shoot at. Because in theory, Vader's behind LOS, and so is Palpatine. So,
yeah, but shouldn't you win that matchup? Because for Reds, you have armor, heavy cover. That's taking away 3 already, and then you got 1, right?
Yeah, so he's plinking. It's a lot of plink, but he is critical too. Especially if he places.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask. How was his token placing?
He forgot to do it, and then he literally forgot to do it, and then it's like round 1, and he's like, "Oh, this is what I meant to do," and I was like,
"Nah,
no, you let him get away with that?
You gave it to him. You already placed."
Yeah, I was already in a very bad mood at that moment because I don't want to get into all of this, but I was at that point. I was just like, as a token of being amicable.
He's doing that.
I mean, it's not a May. So the question is that, and maybe this is a question for a judge. It's not a May.
It's not a May.
I double check because at one point we were at the very beginning of the game, he was doing Jose things. And I mean that in a nice way, like where he's like
things I do.
No, he was doing things like so basically he was saying that's you were trying to do one thing like it comes down to the fact that he didn't understand
words matter, Rob.
It comes down to the fact that he didn't understand that advanced targeting actually works. So he kept saying things. He kept saying things like where I'm like, all right, well, I'm checking range before I make any actions, and then I'd say, okay, so I'm range 4 of this guy and this guy and this guy, and then I say, all right, I'm going to attack them, and he says, all right, but you don't get the aim, and so I thought he was saying I don't get the aim because I wasn't in range of them, and I'm like, okay, well then I can't attack them at all, so I attack something different. But what he was saying is advanced targeting doesn't work at all, and so
it works unless you split fire, right?
Yeah, you can't split fire.
Apparently, before it was errated, it literally didn't work, but I don't know.
Well, because if you're split,
it doesn't matter. We're way off on it. I want to make sure we get to our main events.
I'm trying to understand it here.
You can't just go and say like, "Hey, it just doesn't work," and then not explain yourself.
So apparently, apparently, in the way it was worded before now, so it does work. So anybody listening, it does work the way you think it does because keywords apparently should actually fucking work. That's such a hard concept. Anyways, so that I got super tilted super fast because he kept saying my advanced targeting wasn't proccing because he's like, but you measured range before you started, before you went, because apparently the way it was worded before is it's like you get the aim, but you can't get the aim if you measure range or something.
No, that was never a thing.
I don't know. I don't remember the specifics of what he was arguing, but he kept saying you don't get an aim from advanced targeting. No, advanced targeting doesn't proc. And I just kept getting super tilted. I'm like, yes, it does. Yes, it does. And then we like literally got into an argument. And you know me, I can get into like especially when it comes to rules shit. I get super mad about rules stuff because it's like somebody telling me something literally doesn't work. It's just that gets at me to my core.
Well, when we were playing, you were getting your aims, and I didn't even care because I'm like, okay, cool, he's attacking this unit, he gets.
Oh yeah, because that's
like,
how that's how it
I
works.
wasn't even checking you. You were just like aim, and I wasn't like, where'd you get that aim from?
There's nothing to check.
Yeah,
the thing,
that's
because
saying,
you just get the aim because that's how the keyword works.
But the thing I was wondering is it
but
doesn't
anyways,
work if you split fire, or you can't split fire and have. I there was something in it.
So if you split fire, you don't get the aim.
Yes, that's.
But I'm not. I wasn't doing any split fire.
Okay, so that's.
And so at first, at the beginning, I thought he was thinking that I was split firing, and that's why I wasn't getting the aim.
Yeah. But
then he kept insisting, like even when I'm like I'm only attacking one squad, he's like, yeah, but you don't get the aim. And so at that point, it was like I don't know, but yeah. So complete the mission. Going back to what we were talking about, what the specific wording is. And so this is where you need to get a judge in a tournament. You would have to call a judge. Like if somebody forgets to place their complete the mission tournaments.
How many acts was he?
Complete the mission keywords. I don't know what you actually do.
Okay,
like,
hold on.
The thing is hold
on. I just want to clarify things. I'm going to read this. Advanced targeting unit.
It doesn't matter what it says now because they errated it.
Okay, where did they errata it?
They errated it like right when it came out because apparently the card was wrong.
So then this is wrong in the rulebook then.
The rulebook is correct.
Okay. It says when a unit with advanced targeting X keyword performs an attack against an enemy unit with a unit type listed during the form attack pull step, they may gain X aim a token. A unit
so before apparently there's no moment for you to get the aim token or something to that effect. I don't understand what it was. It does not matter, JR. It doesn't matter. Let's move on.
So the question I have is how many acts did he have?
8.
And you had
8.
Who got the last deployment?
I did because Vader. But also I would have had the last anyways.
Yeah, because my thing is like if
and
he forgot to put his tokens.
Okay.
If he forgot to put his tokens, but those units would have went down before you would have put yours. Correct. It kind of gives an unfair advantage.
Well, it does in general give a massive advantage, right? Because he's placing commandos down before I'm placing down range troopers. And so I spent most of the game with my range troopers in range of one. Not most of the game. The first round before I could move out of the token, I spent in one of these tokens. And I probably could have deployed. So there was no judge. And so I said is sure, and let's move on with it, right?
You didn't want to roll for it?
What was I gonna do? Put them in shitty places and be a dick about it? Like it's not a tournament, right? It's a league, but at the end of the day, these are like we're playing competitively, but these are not competitive games.
Yeah.
Right. We're still playing in a more casual setting. Like if I was at Kubla Khan or if I was at LVO or I was at Worlds, I would have called a judge.
Now I got a question.
The judge would have had to figure out what to do because this is a failed game state. The game is not allowed to look like this.
But if the judge says, Rob, I'm sorry, you guys misplayed the game state. I'm not going to roll it back. He's going to put his tokens. Are you going to tell?
They wouldn't do that.
They wouldn't do that. Judge would say like you don't get to place your tokens.
They would say something along the line either you don't get to place your tokens or the opponent places that. I don't know what the judge would say. I might ask Joss after this, like, hey, what would you do if?
I would tilt if they let him place them after the game.
But I would agree with Rob. This is a friendly league game. It's nothing serious on the line. It's just to have fun.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. You got to be competitive, but at the same time, it's just like we're having fun. That's going to be important when I talk about my game.
Okay.
Oh, you guys are having fun. That's good to know.
I had fun in this game.
I want to go back to. I see the confusion here because on the range troopers it says
on the unit card.
Yeah.
Read the unit card.
Okay. It says when a unit with advanced targeting trooper 1 keyword declares an attack against an enemy trooper unit before measuring range, it may gain 1 aim token.
And so what he was saying is because I was pre-measuring, I wasn't getting the aim token because I had to measure range, and then I was able to shoot at them. And so that was just
that's such terrible word.
But I'm like, but you can pre-measure at any point in the game. So you're saying as soon as I put out a range ruler, I don't get it. Yeah, I was so mad. But anyway, so it was still a fun game. He played Daniel afterwards. They played intercepts. Daniel played some Rebel jank, and the Rebel jank just got slaughtered. So he had some good stuff with Lando. He actually killed some commandos, which was nice. So, but yeah.
So I think the commando's weakness is actually melee. Like if you could have got Vader,
it's definitely melee.
100%.
They shouldn't be allowing you to get into melee. But if they do, then yeah, you're gonna murder them.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but how was your game?
Yeah, okay. So my game, my list, I took Imperial Officer naked, OP Vader with burst of speed, force push.
Oh, so you're playing Empire?
Playing Empire, baby.
Oof. All right.
And then I'm
glad you chose the correct Vader though.
Yes.
I'm just gonna be on Team OP Vader now, just to piss off the Brits.
He's really good.
He's also, I just think he's better, but.
Well, I think Commander Vader is more of a support role. Like it's kind of a hybrid, and the OP Vader is like very aggressive.
So without delaying your battle report, I think if you want your core to do anything other than be naked core that do nothing all game, you have to play Commander Vader.
I agree, 100%.
Because
it's naked troopers.
So so exactly. So it's like because otherwise your core are useless and you have no way to support them, and so they just get one suppression. It's like, all right, my core do nothing this turn.
Yeah,
and it's like you need Commander Vader if you want him. I literally think like you need Commander Vader or Krennic or somebody who can compel if you want your core to do literally anything at all as Empire. But anyways, go.
So then I had took Fifth Brother with Inquisitor's training, burst of speed, Seven Sister with Inquisitor's training and burst of speed, 3 naked stormtroopers, 2 dewbacks with tenacity and HQ uplink, which brought my list to 9 activations.
That's similar to the list you played me with, just without the person, right?
Yeah,
and no force push.
No 3 force pushes. It's now 3 bursts of speeds and 1 force push.
Ridiculous.
And the dewbacks have HQ uplink because the whole theory behind this list is I played new ways to motivate. I popped both HQ uplinks on the dewback, and now everybody, the Inquisitors and the dewbacks, get a speed 3. Not speed 3, sorry, 3 movements.
That's ridiculous.
But Nick's list was playing OP Luke.
I feel so bad for Nick already.
Like
the double Inquisitor with
listen, okay. I think Inquisitor's training is the dumbest upgrade there is, and I think it needs to be errata or changed. And
the problem is Inquisitors aren't good.
We'll get to that.
They're okay.
I mean, I thought they were pretty good for what I was doing, but
you have a great meme list. When I say meme, I don't necessarily mean non-competitive in this sense. I mean, maybe let's call it a skew. The nice way to put it.
It's definitely a skew list.
But it's like it's a meme list in the sense of like, all right, I'm gonna throw 3/4 of you, just good luck, right? Like they're either gonna be able to deal with it or they're not. Right. And that has nothing to do with Inquisitor's training being good or not, though it does make you much better against OP Luke.
That's it, Jared. Take it to LVO, bro. Yeah. That's a challenge.
I mean, I want to.
You could probably win an LVO with this. I don't know.
So then, he had look at OP Luke, had Mando with Grogu, 2 veterans.
Victory point come into play.
No. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh. Well, no, it didn't come into play. 2 veterans, and then 2 Mark IIs, 1 squad of Ewok skirmishers, and Wicket. Now, does anyone see the problem in this list?
Well, I already know the problem because we already talked about it.
Yeah, I wish I would have saved it, but Nick was calling me out, so I had to call him out. He had no commander. He thought you could take Wicket as your commander. Nope. Unfortunately,
but why did he think that?
I forgot to say is that he took the land speeder. That was
okay. Well, he could have just fixed that by having the
which we
field
did,
commander
which we
upgrade.
did. So after we realized that you're not allowed to take Wicket as the commander, we just said, let's just say he slept on field commander for 5 points because he had a 93 bid.
Yeah, I'm looking at his list.
Yeah, and then I had a 799. So if he slapped on the field commander, he's still a blue player, which he took blue player in this.
Yeah, so it's fine.
So nothing changed. The game didn't change, but I just thought it was funny. I was just like, Nick, you can't do that. Now, I am on Nick's side about this because I hate the mercenary rules. I hate just all that.
We'll get into we can get into that later.
We'll get to that.
You gotta hold that.
So, anyways, pretty much we played recover the supplies, fortify positions, and advanced positions. So he had some.
He gave you advance with all that speed.
He did give me advance.
What was there worse option before that?
I can't really remember. I think it was hemmed in. No, it couldn't be hemmed in.
That's still an ass pick too.
I don't remember.
That's spicy.
But he pretty much the box in the middle. I put my box on my side of the table. I put all 3 of my naked storms by the boxes to grab them, and my Imperial officer, and then had the dewbacks and Vader and the Quizzers all behind the building, like really close to the middle box. He put the vets and all the Mark IIs over by his. The skirmishers kind of went behind the building to try to flank on my side, and then he just put Wicket straight up in the middle. I'm thinking he's gonna play Wicket's 1 pip, grab the box, then play Wicket's 1 pip and get the hell out of there.
Wait, the 1 pip and then the 1 pip? What?
Sorry, let me say that again because I messed
up.
He put Wicket scout 3 really close to the middle box.
Got it.
In my head, I'm thinking he's gonna make Wicket grab the box on turn 1 and then play Wicket's 1 pip that gives us speed 3 and get out of there.
Got it.
He put
and you can't be attacked with that, right? Or something crazy?
No, he just gets speed 3.
Oh, okay.
He can't attack. Wicket can't attack.
Oh, that's what it is. Got it.
Yeah. So then he put the land speeder, and of course he put Luke and the land speeder like on the edge of advanced position
to shield him.
And Grogu scouted up, or Mando scouted up behind a building. And he's got rockets, so he's speed 3. So pretty much what it was is like turn 1, storms go grab the boxes, vets go grab the boxes. We're moving up. I moved dewbacks up. I was able to move a dewback up in standby. And then I put Inquisitors up. I double moved 1. I think I moved 1 in standby. I think I double moved. And then Vader double moved. He moved Mando really close to the middle. I was able to proc. It was when he moved the land speeder. I was able to proc my standby off the dewback, which then went into Mando because when he placed Mando, he put Grogu ahead of Mando. So I was able to base Grogu, and then
why did he do that? Does he have standby on Din or?
No, I think he wanted to do the thing with Grogu.
The hand thing.
Yeah, not the command card, but the thing that
his roll dice. Yeah.
Okay.
So
once again, Grogu.
Yeah, I think that's what his problem was.
Keep in mind, Mando's the bring on. Nick just plays Grogu. Mando doesn't exist.
Yeah,
Mando's the extra.
What? That's very accurate.
He's hit really points for Grogu.
Yeah,
he's hit points for Grogu.
So I was able to get into Mando. I think I do like 1 or 2 wounds. OP Luke comes out, and then he makes his way towards the box. But I have another dewback on standby. So when OP Luke comes out, my dude goes into OP Luke and does 2 wounds onto him right off the bat. I'm feeling pretty good at this point. Then the next round, what did I play first round? I played this Dark Descents first round. Second round, I played Come and Prove It because OP Luke is now engaged with the dewback. And all my Inquisitors and Vader are right there, arm's length away, in range 1, right?
Yep.
So,
and the dewback isn't engaged technically, but the dewback also has disengaged, so both of them can move freely.
The dewbacks don't have disengaged. They can withdraw.
That's what it is. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. They can withdraw and still do. But unfortunately, you can't withdraw into a melee anymore, so it kind of takes away from that.
Yeah.
But pretty much.
What What is it? They can attack while withdrawing? Is that what it is?
No. When they withdraw, they still get the free action to attack. So if they had a weapon, a ranged weapon, they can withdraw and then shoot that ranged weapon.
Right.
Yeah. They can't withdraw into their melee anymore. So their melee profile is meaningless at that point.
I thought they could melee attack and then withdraw.
Oh no, I don't think you can.
I
could be wrong, but I don't play creature super.
I thought that's let me you keep talking and I'll look that up for you.
So anyways, he plays turn 2. He played Luke's Pip where you get extra white defense dice.
Oh, the one where he's being held by the Rancor.
Yeah. And this is kind of where I felt bad for Nick because I hate.
So real quick, yeah, they can melee swing and then withdraw. That's what they can do. Yeah, so creature troopers may perform free actions from the relentless or reposition keywords before or after withdraw move. Just an FYI for the future.
Okay, so when you
swing, move out,
full of surprises.
But wait, is a withdrawal considered a move action?
It specifically says a withdraw move.
That's good to know. I'm glad you told me that. So pretty much, I play Come and Prove It. He plays Full of Surprises. And I go with Vader. I force push Luke. I gaze with Vader, strike Luke. And I hate OP Luke because he's just saving and he's taking these hits. And then Nick's pulling off the Grogu thing and healing OP Luke. So it's so annoying. And so I have Vader, I have Fifth Brother, and Seventh Sister all on OP Luke. And they're just swinging and trying to kill OP Luke. And he's just surviving these like longer than I think he should be. But I still feel bad for Nick because Nick can't disengage because there's 3 people on him and he's hitting Vader. Like I think he played what's his one Pip that lets him attack twice?
Son of Skywalker.
Yeah. And like Vader's like down to like 3 health off of that. And I'm just like, ooh.
He could have killed an. I would have attacked an Inquisitor.
I would have killed an Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Well, he was doing a lot of damage to Vader, but the thing is that he kept wanting to force push something.
Oh,
and I kept denying it. And then on his OP Luke, he kept playing.
Yeah, because you roll it. So remind me how it works. You roll both, right? Separately?
Yeah. I give him the option. I was like, hey, can I roll both of them at the same time, just the same time?
Oh, got it.
But he was just like, can you do that? I was just like,
it doesn't matter if you're rolling them at the same time or not.
No,
but you roll them both.
But we were talking about how he thought
how does it
but
it also depends on how the rules are in the book in the rule book. If it says 1 die, it's 1 die unless your opponent says otherwise. Because that's the hang up with observation tokens. Yeah. Observation tokens, you can only technically rules
technically yes. Technically yes.
Technically yes, you're supposed to only roll 1 at a time. But at the same time, your opponent might not matter if it doesn't change anything. In this case, it doesn't change anything.
It can't change anything. Yeah.
Which I didn't need to because every time I rolled, I got
the first one.
Yeah, every time. He had Jedi Mind Trick too, so he kept trying to use that, and I kept denying it. I was like, Nick, I feel bad, man. I think this is a stupid.
You think it needs to have
a number? You're like, I feel bad that my guys that have the one thing are doing the one thing. Like,
yes, it's annoying. It's frustrating.
Do you think it?
Frustrated.
Yeah. Do you think it needs to be revised to have like a number? Like you can only use it like X1 per round?
I think you make it a 50-50, a true 50-50, and then you raise the points. That's my opinion on it.
Man, it's like if these things were winning tournaments left and right, I'd agree, but they're not. So it's
the only reason why they're not winning tournaments is because force users aren't meta. If force users aren't meta, these things will win tournaments.
I don't know. I think even if force users are meta, maybe.
How would you not? Right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Well, I just don't. To me, it's like don't fix something that's not broken yet.
But it's not broken because nobody's taking it, not because it's not broken. It's better to be preemptive than to wait for it to be a problem.
But if
because the way AMG does it is they'll let something ride. Once it gets popular, they'll let it ride for a few months and then be like, well, we did it to make sure it was broken. But it's like you knew it was like Blizzard Force. Blizzard Force ran on for 6, not getting into that subject, but Blizzard Force ran on for 6 or 7 months, and people were like, "This needs to be fixed." And MG's like, "Does it though? Let's play it out." And then finally MG was like, yeah, this is busted. Like, yeah, it was busted. It was busted before you said it was busted. Like, it's better to be preemptive, man. Especially with something like that, man. Like that's so like, don't get me wrong, if you're using it, you're like
very frustrating. I don't think I asked Nick too.
It's definitely not fun game design. Like as a game from a game design perspective, it's not fun for anyone, I don't think.
I think Inquisitor's training should also have a dot on it. You're only allowed to take one. Two is just overkill.
Right? I can see that being it. I can see 50%. I just think like there are bigger things to worry about right now, and we'll talk about that later. But anyways, what else happened in your game?
Yeah, sorry.
So then pretty much the next turn, like he sent the Skywalker to Vader, but I was able to save Vader. And then I kill Luke at the end of that round. And then I play New Ways to Motivate. And then sure enough, they just get into his back lines where he's got the boxes.
Did Wicked ever grab the middle box? I'm on edge here.
Oh no! So
I'm like, did he get it? Is he alive?
No. What he ended up doing is that since the Dew went into Mando, Wicked just went into the Dew to start stabbing it.
What?
And then then I think it was Vader. I don't know. It was either one of the Inquisitors or Vader just went like, yeah, just chop, you're dead.
So you had like a giant mosh pit in the middle of the box?
Giant mosh pit. Like everyone.
Like Mando got in there too. Was like
Mando's in there. Wicked. The land speeder's trying to do something in the back, but the land speeder just pretty much was a transport for Luke. So it's shooting 2 whites at my stormtroopers to try to make them suppress and drop the box. But he keeps getting blank on the land speeder every time. 2 blanks on the whites.
This match is hilarious.
Then OP Luke, and then all my Inquisitor invaders, and then as soon as he grabs his box, he transitions his guys to move up to give cover fire. But as soon as OP Luke went down, like he had his guys to cover fire, but the thing is all my guys were engaged, so we were getting shot, and he needed something to die to shoot at them. But when I killed
he could have force pushed one of you out so that he could proc standbys.
He could have. Stupid card that I'm not afraid to play.
No, you should play it because it's literally the only reason to run them. They're just without that card, they're just Jedi. They're literally just not worth bringing at all.
No, there's an argument to be made there. If they were,
they don't hit hard. They don't.
See, if force users were more meta, I think they're good, cheap force.
So if we take them completely out of them, if we take that card completely out, they don't hit hard enough, and they don't they're both like half of a force user, but
it's a good it's a good medium, and I think it's a good blueprint.
They're like half a force user for 66% of the cost.
Why do you think they don't hit hard?
Because it's only like 4 or 5 dice each.
It's 5 dice, and if you take tenacity, it's 6.
Okay, now you want to be hit. I don't know.
Himself on the New Ways.
So the only force users that have more than 5, right, is
Obi-Wan. So Obi-Wan has 6. Palpatine has 6. Vader has 5, but it's red. Let's see.
I think
Yoda has 4, but he attacks.
Vader has 6.
Commander Vader.
Anakin also has 5, but they're red again, so they're more consistent. Maul has like 8 or 9. I don't remember if it's 10 or 8. 8. Or 6 with the Darksaber if you're Shadow Collective, right? I mean, all of these have more than 5, except for the red. But
here's my thing is, and this has been my case for all force users, is you don't want to be swinging at other force users.
Of course,
you want these guys to be swinging at just troopers.
And that's to me why their 5 dice is kind of sad, because like even a Vader swinging 5 dice into B1s is sad, right? Because you're going to kill 5 things, but you're spending 2 turns to kill a B1 squad.
And I agree with that, because my old strategy with Obi-Wan was just like, you can't kill B1s in one go, so I'm just going to ignore you.
Yeah, and to me, it's like when you make it even worse than that, and like Vader, of course, can also get the tenacity to make it 6. He can have force choke and do force push stuff, right? And so he has other things he can do, which is fine. But his command cards are amazing, and you want his command cards more than you want that 5 red and melee, which is still awesome. And I'm not saying it's bad, but you want those command cards. Whereas their command cards are like, you have a recover card, which is great. You have their 1/2 pip, which is pretty good from what I've been told, and then the rest are just straight garbage. and none of those are helping you do any Jedi stuff better, right?
I still think 5's enough to cripple a unit. And I think that's the most important thing a Force user needs to do is to get in there, cripple a unit, and then ideally you would have Force push to get out of there.
And to me, that's their problem. Is you only have one Force slot.
Which
and you can bring Force push, which is why I kind of think you have to.
Right.
So, but I don't know.
See, and I agree with that. You have to bring Force push, in my opinion. The reason why I took 3 bursts of speeds, 2 on the Inquisitors, was because my theory was just get into the lines, start chopping things, and I'm disabling 2 of their units right off the bat.
And that kind of works in their case, right? Because they're so cheap, right? So maybe they're just a different type of Force user. They're just they're more hacky, slashy. So
yeah. Which honestly, they're fun. I had a lot of fun with them.
They seem awesomely fun. Like I'm not saying they're not fun. I don't know.
Good. It's good build space for when they do like more Force units that are smaller like that.
Well, with the current meta, they're not good because honestly, it's
they might be good against commandos. So there's that.
I think they are good against commandos.
Right? If they can get into a commando squad, that's a four mini squad that doesn't have any defense tech all of a sudden. Especially if you can Force push them out of their nice cozy complete the mission token. So like they're good against commandos, I think. I haven't seen it, but commandos can also basically one shot them. So they a range
2, maybe.
Yeah, but they're going to be getting close enough to be in range 2, I would imagine. So like that range 2 shot is spicy. That's
they got to make sure they kill it,
my opinion, if you're
with the potential fire support.
If you're in range 2 of a commando, you're already dead. Like not the the commandos, because
no.
In my opinion, that because like if I'm gonna get to range 2, then I'm gonna be in melee already of you.
If you don't have burst, there is a period of time.
That's a move, and Force push is 2.5 range.
If you have Force push, which in your case you didn't.
Well,
but anyways, we're way off.
But even if I didn't have Force push, burst of speeds now makes it a little bit more than 3 range 3. So like getting in is a lot easier for them than to fire back. So like if you get in first, you kill them.
It all depends on timing.
Sure.
And who goes when.
Sure.
So I definitely don't think you're wrong. I just think that there are going to be times where they get that range 2 shot, and I think they're going to be able to reliably get at least one of these range 2 shots off every game.
Yeah, but if you don't kill, if you're not wounding like a multi-unit unit, yeah, they can kill the Inquisitors. I agree with that. But the thing that you have to remember is like if you get in 2 and you get that shot off and those black dice go south, or for whatever reason, or they block really good, those Inquisitors are going to get in, and then that's just a naked 4-man unit that they're probably going to mortally wound.
Yeah.
So
I mean, honestly, it's just like Rob said, it's timing. It's about when it's placed, where it's placed, and like if you're able to get in or not.
And if you're able to get a fire support.
Don't get me wrong. With Star Wars Legion, it's very much a range game as opposed to a lightsaber game. So range is always going to be more dominant than a lightsaber user. That's why I'm really bummed about the nerfs to Force users, but it is what it is, you know?
Yeah. So anyway, so what let's finish up your game and then we can move on.
Yeah, well, pretty much after I killed OP Luke, I just kind of ignored Mando. I didn't think Mando could do that much. So I ignored Mando and just started going into his backline and started killing off the vets. And at that point, the game was already over.
How did you get out of the lines? Like, did you just force push Mando out and then just start moving?
Well, because Mando was stuck fighting the dude, and so
Mando wasn't with. I thought they were all in one melee, but it's Din versus a dewback.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And OP Luke is facing both Inquisitors, Vader, and a dewback. So he's still, and like it's so frustrating because he was just surviving so much. Yeah. Like if Nick could force push, I think he would have won. Right. But
the problem is the only reason your list works is because Inquisitive training works. That's the only reason it works.
Right. Like
saying if Luke could have done the thing that I built this entire list around him not doing, right? It's like in Magic. It's like if you didn't counterspell me, then it's like, but I'm playing blue. Of course,
Did you do that on purpose, knowing he plays Luke?
I didn't know what he was playing. I know I knew he was playing Rebel, but like this to me is a very much a skew list, and I was just like, I want to see how nuts I get with it. I mean, I took it against you, and I was just like, let's see if like because my with the nerfs to force users and the way that people play tables right now, I was just like, can I make a list that can get my guy from a far range into their lines, right? Which I think this list has potential, but there's a lot of problems with this list as well.
I mean, I like it. I think you should bring it
I like
to.
it too.
I unironically think you should bring it to VetFest, or bring it to Bakersfield, actually, just to stress test it. Is what I think you should do.
And I that's what I've been trying to do, and I really like it. And like, I think it was just the perfect storm for me. When I saw OP Luke, I was like, great, I'm shutting down this force push.
Yeah, you're like all of a sudden this force user who can do the most, maybe the second most in the entire game out of all the force users does nothing.
And I really wish I went force push because when I saw OP Luke, it's like, oh, he's trying to get in my lines. I don't need a burst of speed to anybody, right? But in hindsight, it's 2020.
Yeah. So in a normal game, would you new ways to motivate on turn one?
Most likely, right?
Okay.
Because advanced position, I scout up, and then depending on where they are, I'm pretty sure a speed 3 Inquisitor is like 3.5, if not more. So I can like, I think it's close to range 4, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. But
God, that's far.
It is far. It's very far. So anyways, got in his lines. We called it there. Wicked died up to, like I said, Vader. And then Mando was too busy with the dewback that he was versatile out and shoot. But I was saving good on that game. Until like, I guess in the beginning round I wasn't saving good because Vader took a lot of hits. And then I started to save really well. And then at that point when Mando killed the dewback, I just ignored Mando. Like he couldn't really make up his points at that point.
The disrespect.
I forgot about the victory point of Grogu because I would have just killed Mando in that case. But I didn't even go for the middle box because I wanted to stress test the list, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go kill things.
Okay.
So yeah, that was my game.
Good deal.
Good fun. Good fun.
All right. So 45 minutes in, what's the main topic for today?
The main topic we're now going to talk about is Battle Force. Is Battle Force ruining the game? Now, I know a lot of people like Battle Forces, and I know a lot of people don't like Battle Forces. So we're going to go through this in order, and you guys give us your opinion on what you think.
I feel like we just give a yes or no answer, and then
for right now,
just yes or no.
Okay, all right, Jose.
Start with yourself. No, you have to start with yourself.
Oh, okay, me. Yes, I think Battle Forces are ruining the game. And then Jose, what do you say?
Yes, not that they're ruining the game, but they're just making.
Well, that wasn't the question. He said, "Okay, the game." Yes, they're ruining the game.
Yes.
All right, Rob. Voice of reason here.
Talk to me into that corner.
As the one that always has the objectively correct takes. No, they're not ruining.
Okay.
People listen to the Legion lads to hear me say the correct thing, and then for Jose to say the wrong thing. For JR to say
my extremist takes.
No, I'm kidding, of course, but no, they're not running the game.
All right, so we'll start with Jose. Why do you think they're running the game?
So I have a lot of opinions on this, but my two major takeaways from it that I've stood on since day one, and the second one that became really relevant, in my opinion, as time went on, is that these things, when they were created, they were not supposed to be competitive. They're supposed to be thematic. The AMG said it themselves. These lists are not going to contend. They're not going to make any splash. They're just for fun. We're just, thematic stuff you want to do. And that was a lie. I don't think it was a lie that they knew they were telling. I think it was they forget that how broken things can become when you put them in competitive players' hands to mess with. And the second thing is that years down the road, their fixes to battle forces hamper standard Legion armies. But I can get into that later.
Real quick, didn't FLG make the first Battle Force ? I thought that was.
If you count Shadow Collective, right?
If you count Shadow Collective,
are we counting Shadow Collective?
It shouldn't be.
I'm counting Shadow Collective and the 4 boxes that they released. I'm pretty sure FLG had to work on those, right?
Okay. Because when did the first?
Let me look that up.
I thought FLG.
those came out after Mando and Gideon, and those were the last releases that FLG had. They went
I'm
on
pretty
record.
sure FLG was working on Shadow Collective. So like if FLG was working on,
but Battle Forces are entirely an AMG thing. They're not FLG.
But Shadow Collective is also a Battle Force. So
it shouldn't be.
It makes me think that FLG was already considering Battle Forces, because if they were working on it and then AMG, put it out, then there had to be some talk of we're going to make Battle Forces.
Got it. And so
because if memory corrects me, they actually talked about that prior to Shadow Collective coming out.
When FLG extravaganza.
Yeah, they were saying like we're going to come up with new ways to make lists.
Okay, so then so what were the first Battle Forces then? Like, because maybe I think I know we need to say our takes, JR, but I kind of think that Jose just said something interesting here where he said AMG said that they were for fun and now they're not. And so maybe what if we just kind of like, what were the first ones? Or were they already out of the box, just completely OP?
It was Shadow. No. So that's the funny thing. In preparing for this segment, I actually dug up old Reddit posts and old people commenting. And to read these comments is hilarious because people were like, Blizzard has 1 or 2 good cards, but the list composition is completely terrible. It's not going to do anything. And I'm just like, well, man, if only that was true. And it's weird. It's like Reddit post after Reddit post after Reddit post, and this card's bad, and then and the standby castle from the Rebels is not great. I'm just like, if you guys only knew how crazy these things, like those people, if they could go back and remember they wrote this stuff, I think would be like, what was I thinking?
But no, I always go to Reddit for objectively correct takes.
No, but it's just it's not even.
It's always the dumbest thing. People say the dumbest things on Reddit. Like,
yeah, but it's like I don't blame them because like people weren't taking these things seriously, like at all. Like it's weird. It's the not. I want to say I'm trying to figure the right word. It's like when you look at something and you've never played it, you never looked at it, or you never really think outside of what can this do. When people look at Blizzard Force, they were just like, this is stupid, it's not going to work. But nobody looked at it through the lines of, this is so dumb, look at the crazy stuff I can do. It was really like, this is dumb. Like how AMG said, it's for fun. But anyways, to answer your question, it was Shadow Collective, it was 501st, it was Invasion Force, it was Blizzard Force, and it was Echo Base. Those were the original
and 5. And they all came out at the same time?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was right after AMG took over?
Yes.
So probably an FLG/AMG product, maybe?
So this is my theory. Shadow Collective, Invasion Force, 501st, Echo Base, and Blizzard Force is all the things I think FLG were working on. And then AMG got it, and so AMG had to release it. And every Battle Force after that, I think AMG did.
I think I would agree with that. I think that makes sense based off that timeline. Looking at, again, we don't know, but that seems correct, right?
Right.
Yeah, because then the following ones would be Tempest,
Ewoks. Well, the next would be Remnant, right? So Remnant come out alone?
The later ones, I'm saying in general. So it's Tempest, Remnant, Ewoks.
So like if we're talking about release phases, though, right? Like that first phase is the original 5. We'll including Shadow Collective. Then we have Remnant all by itself, apparently. I didn't realize that.
Yep.
And then they released Tempest and Bright Tree. And no, it was Tempest. Were they all 4 on the same day?
No, it was Tempest, Bright Tree.
2 and 2.
And then later
they
came out Wookiee Defenders and Experimental Droids.
Yeah, it was like 2 months apart or something, like super close to it. It was all last year, right?
Yeah.
So these and so it's kind of interesting because like the latest ones are the ones that are more powerful. Like obviously Blizzard, so maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. But anyways, yeah. What was your point? They were supposed to be fun and now they're not.
So yeah, no. They're supposed to be fun and thematic and not competitive. They literally said that, not competitive.
Okay.
Which, like I said, and my thing with AMG is they had no idea what they were getting into in the first place. So I think it was just a miscalculation on their end because you look at this stuff and it's like, and you're breaking rules so rules are set in place for a reason to keep things situated, keep things balanced, keep things in line. And when you bring out things that break rules, especially an entire army that breaks rules, you just open up a nasty can of worms that has overreaching consequences, especially when your fixes pertain to those forces, but not those forces alone.
Okay. I think this is going to be me versus the two of you for all of this. So maybe JR, you go and you talk about why you don't like them, and then how about we do this? Is I perform counter arguments.
Okay.
So I argue against you guys rather than just I like battle forces because So should I just go? Should I counter?
I'm not trying to have an argument. I'm trying to have a discussion.
So I think the reason why I think it's kind of ruining the game is because it's very gimmicky, right? It like Jose said, it breaks rules and it overshadows the whole entire faction. A good example is the EXD, right? That's a phenomenal battle force that is doing crazy numbers, that's winning games, but the faction itself is suffering. And that's my gripe about it. Is like the reason why EXD is doing so good is because of the rule breakings that it can do, right? You get the 3 surges, you could take, I don't think, well, I think that's it, just the 3 surges, really. And it's frustrating because I think Imperial Remnant is another one. Free tokens, who doesn't love free tokens? Taking more ranks allowed in a standard faction kind of breaks it. Like Blizzard Force, you could take 4 speeder bikes. Echo Base Defenders, you could theoretically take 4
tons.
Or
they can take FD cannons, right? Oh, those are heavies, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I've yet to still face a ton.
My thing is that battle forces for things that necessarily don't fit in a faction, I'm okay with. A good example, and the only example, is Shadow Collective, right? I'm hoping eventually they come.
Shadow Collective breaks rules. You can go down to 2 core, and you can have up to 4 special forces.
I agree, and that's what I'm saying. I think the only one that should be able to do that is Shadow Collective, because there's units in there that you necessarily don't fit in any faction. I'm hoping one day we get a Mando faction where you can take a bunch of Mandalorians. Like that would be really cool, and those don't necessarily fit in any type of faction. But I think the game's true identity should always remain the 4 factions, because that's how the game is played. That's how you get your ranks. That's how you understand the games. All these battle forces are breaking the rules and everything are the reason why they're so top tier, is because you're allowed to do things that the factions can't do, and it's getting overshadowed. That's my argument on that, to be honest.
Okay, so just from the start, right? So you guys are coming at it from 2 different angles, right? There's the power level, and then there's the then you just don't like an inherent dislike for the fact that they can change rules.
No. The fact that
break rules.
The adjustments for these things hurt standard play.
So I want to bring up, I guess, one counter argument. Okay, go.
Let me say one last thing. And I do agree with Jose that these, I think they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun, and it's fun to play them. But I don't think they should be allowed in competitive play, because that's just it. It's the one that can break the most rules is the top dog at the time.
So I think it's. So I don't want to. I hate how we just, at least I like keep defaulting back to one tournament to talk about this. But I think you guys are like, if we look at Worlds, right? This is kind of our biggest sort of thing. And so if let's assume Shadow Collective is not a battle force for a second, right? It's one Shadow Collective, and then it's like 6 CIS or something. And of those, 2 of those aren't even EXD, right? They end up losing to EXD. But
are you talking about 6 battle forces?
6 EXD in top 8 at Worlds.
Okay.
I think it was like 60. It was 60. Maybe it was 6 CIS. But in the top 8, there were 2 non EXD, 2 non EXD CIS. So I actually don't think CIS is like, I feel like at the highest level the meta is super weird, and it kind of comes down to who the best player is, which shows the game is, other than EXD, fairly well balanced. Because we have people that are playing things that locally we would say this would never work, this would never function, but at that high level where they're playing against the best players, they're doing well. the other thing is, for the past not year, but 6 or so months before Worlds, the Boogeyman was not a battle force. It was Republic, not Republic, not Republic 501st, but Republic. And I don't think that battle forces are inherently the problem for making the things meta or unmeta, because Republic also break a lot of rules just inherently. So if the reason that they're winning is because they break the most rules, then we need to stop Gar from breaking so many rules, or we need to give other factions ways to break rules themselves, because the two factions that played the poorest at Worlds were Empire and Rebels. And Empire and Rebels are the two factions that do not break any rules. That
Rebels
were hurt.
Rebels were hurt because of the nerf to the pike ball. Rebels starless at that time before the pike ball nerf hit was dodge spam. And when AMG's reaction to pikes are so good, we have to stop them, points increase to all the dodge tech, ended up killing the star player for the Rebels, which was Rebel Luke dodge spam. And that's one of my examples for how these things dwindle down.
So are we counting Shadow Collective as a battle force then, or not? Because I thought we weren't.
We are.
We are? Okay.
Well, they have to be. I don't think they should be, but they have to be. They are.
But like my takeaway is that Shadow Collective is kind of like its own thing because of units in it. But
sure,
I did want to touch on your topic about man, I lost my train of thought. I agree with you. My argument has always been I feel like Rebel and Empire should get some kind of cool keyword because of clones and droid. They all have a special keyword, and it's just clones got so much defensive tech. Like I think that's why it's prevailing so well right now.
Well, and to me, it's like being mad at battle forces for existing, or saying that it's the battle forces inherently are the problem, or that they shouldn't be competitive at all. I think just kind of sidesteps from the fact that balance is hard. And when you have battle forces, it's actually easier to do balance changes that
because
just affect that one small problem. Like EXD can be fixed by things that only affect EXD. You can do things that only affect why they are doing so well.
But that's not
otherwise you have to affect everyone. And I'm sorry, but the reason that vigilance and situational awareness were nerfed was not just because it was good in pikes, it's because it was good everywhere. Like Republic could use that shit super well as well. Like
and at that time, Rebels were throwing hands with Republic because of the dodge tech. But the thing is, like, well, you mentioned a good point about how fixing something in EXD is possible because it can fix something in EXD. That would be the dream, but that's not how AMG handles it. If AMG would say, "Hey,
real quick, we literally, what was the best battle force last year, hands down?
Blizzard.
How did they fix Blizzard?
They made you change. They changed points, and then they made you take Commander Vader. But
right, so they changed specifically Blizzard Force.
But yes, you're talking about the increase to the.
So they made HRUs way more expensive, and they made you bring Commander Vader. And the reason why swapping to Commander Vader is not necessarily because Commander Vader is worse. It's because he's way more expensive. So they made things more expensive in Blizzard, which made it less points efficient. And part of why it was winning is because it was so points efficient.
It was still winning afterwards, though. And all they did was make the Blizzard player knock off the comms off of the bikes.
And it turns out that's a really big deal, is the more that Blizzard has to start taking off, the more it matters. This is a game where making something 5 to 10 points more expensive has a massive effect.
Okay, so why not like I said, when it comes
to... It wasn't even a small change, too. Like, the HRU change was like 12 points each, right? It was... I remember thinking, like,
okay, so then, like I said, why didn't they do that with the pike dodge tech?
Because the dodge tech was the problem, not the pikes.
The pikes are...
And they did raise the price of pikes, if I remember correctly.
They raised the price to everything related to pikes and dodge tech, which had negative.
Well, they also raised the price on Black Suns as well.
Right.
So my thing is, like, I like the core building of the factions. Like you get 3 supports, you get 2 heavies, because like I think you have more creative lists people make and build. I feel like Blizzard Force is kind of like, or not Blizzard Force, Battle Force is kind of like say, this is the best list, you should take it. Because I think it's overshadowing that
Nobody did Veer's Blizzard Force.
Rebels, Empire, and CS are all struggling. And
yeah. I think at the top level, there will always be people that argue that this is the best, and then people will start playing what is perceived to be the best. I don't think that has anything to do with the fact that there is or is not a battle force revolving around it. What the battle force does is it puts constraints. And constraints I can definitely see make things less varied, and it makes it easier to say, well, within these constraints, this is the best. But even there, we see like there are like everybody that brought EXT to Worlds, they didn't all have the same exact list. They all had subtle differences that made the list play pretty differently. Like I'll tell you, BXs with impact grenades, which I faced at Worlds, significantly scarier than BXs without impact grenades when I was playing armor. And so just that one little 3 points change made that list play completely differently. And I think
the thing is you're facing EXD. You got minor tweaks and changes that doesn't change the list. It just changes little things that they're taking. Whereas if you bring
doesn't change their advantages they have.
So like if you have the CIS army, you could have somebody who brought Asajj, Dooku, or Maul, or they just brought all BXs.
But if people said that the meta was still 3 BXs, Kalani, and this is the best list, period, then that would still be what people were playing. Sure. And people still can bring the other stuff. Nobody's saying you have to play a battle force, right? You can still play core factions. Like you can't say, well, now you can't play Asajj. Well, yeah, you can.
You can play core. You can play core factions. You're just not gonna do nothing with them.
So I think.
And so tell that to the people that went top 8 with CIS at Worlds. They went something with it.
Okay, that's fine. Top 8. Top 8, top whatever, like that's good, but you didn't. Those lists made top 8. They were still not good enough to beat a EXT. Like
so, I mean, they like, would. I mean,
like you could take. Here's my thing about top 8s and all that stuff. It's great. You could say I made it here, I got here, but did you win it? No. Like with the heyday Blizzard Force.
So then there's only one. Then the only list in the entire game that's good is Fury Road, because that's the only list that won Worlds. Is what you're saying?
No, I'm not being extreme.
No, I'm saying
you have those lucky draws. You have those lucky draws like not like last year's, not the one you went to, but you have lucky draws like last year's Worlds where Lila dismembered a bazillion Blizzard forces only to lose to Luke, who didn't face a single one. There's always that random chance that things are going to pan out that you don't get there. Fury Road was awesome because he knew essentially people were going to play a lot of EXD. So if he got EXD, which would be a majority of the field that was there, he knew he was relatively good. When you skew into the skew, you're going to have good results. But what I'm saying is like you can take all this other stuff.
Real quick though, he argues on That's the Mood that he just thinks the list is good, period. That EXD was only part of why he brought it, for the record, just so that we're not saying why he's doing things. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
I think you could. I kind of think that, but statistically, if a majority of players were going to take EXD, then yeah, you're just being nice at that point.
But going into Worlds, I think you had to be kind of crazy to say I'm worried about EXD. Like you had to be maybe not crazy.
Be crazy to say you're worried about EXD or not worried about EXD.
To say, I think you had to be prescient to say my thing that I'm scared the most of at Worlds is EXD, because I think for most people going into Worlds, the big scary was Republic. And there were a lot of Republic players that were saying, we're going to sweep the floor with EXD. It does not matter. Now, granted, I was here saying EXD is the thing that was going to win. And that was the scary thing, right? So, and I'm not saying I'm prescient. And you did. But the thing is, like, for most players, yeah, I think for most players, though, like, it was like saying, oh, he knew he was going to fight EXD. He didn't know. He just had a hunch. Just like I had a hunch.
Well, it's hard to say you have a hunch when you have the Discord and they're all blatantly talking about what they're taking. And it's funny because a lot of the people that went to that event, like I said, I didn't go to the event. I'll probably never make a Worlds. I don't intend to ever be good enough to
Hey,
make
it's
Worlds.
open. You can go. You can go anytime you want.
But even travel. But my point is, Worlds is such a big thing to me. I don't know if it'll be so big this year because it's not Worlds, but Worlds is such a big thing to me, especially with some of the players that I follow. That I'm in the Discord and I'm reading everything going on in Adepticon, and I'm not even going, and I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing all these players like, yeah, so Lister submitted this. I think this is what's going to go good, and this is what I'm taking. When you have that general chat, it's no longer a surprise of what's going to happen. If you see 80% of the Discord swinging from EXD's balls, and then you'd be crazy to think, okay, so all of them are saying this is good. There's no way all these people are going to not take it. There's no way some 25% are going to counterpick it. What's the best play here? You counterplay. You counterplay the skew.
But your counterplay still has to beat, and there were way more people playing Republic than EXT. So you still have to be able to beat Republic, and you have to beat all the people playing random other bullshit, like, I don't know, Palpatine Double Darks, or like that I was playing, or like all the Rebel lists. Like, you have to be able to beat Ewoks, you have to be able to face Wookiees, you have to be able to beat triple ATST Tempest Force. Like, you still have to beat all of that stuff, or be able to, at least in theory. And you're totally right that part of it is you just have to dodge the stuff you're not good against. But I think
we could all be in agreement that too much rule breaking is the problem.
Because an entire army breaking rules for me.
No.
You could have a unit that breaks rules.
We can all agree that probably Republic is the most at breaking rules, just in general. And then if we look at all these battle forces, the top battle forces, in my opinion, break the most rules, right? You had Blizzard Force breaking the most rules at first. Imperial Remnant.
What other than Blizzard didn't break a lot of rules. You just can add a fourth bike, which is big. I get that, but like,
and the bid, and your list, and your deck,
and the new unit. You only got a new unit.
Okay, so you have, but adding a new unit is not the same thing as breaking rules, right? Breaking rules is
if it's the only way to play that unit.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Because hold on. This unit
because inherent
allowed you to take 2 heavies. That's not breaking the rule.
No, you could do that. You could do that though before this. I agree with what I know where you're going.
So what I'm saying is
Clan Ren takes 2 heavies.
No, I'm saying like Storm.
I'm not saying that the HRUs are bad. What I'm saying is they're not, like, bringing an HRU is not inherently breaking rules, right? Like, if we're talking breaking rules, we need to talk stuff like sharing tokens between 2 minis, or between 2 units. That is breaking an inherent rule of 1 unit, 1 token, right? Or EXD, they get the surge tokens where their speed 2 move is now a speed 3 move, or you get 2 extra dice, and those are inherently breaking the rules of the game of what you can and cannot do, especially that move. That breaks every single rule about movement and every single rule about what you can do to fight against them with range bands.
My little pushback when it comes to Gar is that Gar's already been taxed for everything.
I am not saying Gar shouldn't be able to share tokens, for the record here. Like, literally, that is not what I'm saying.
No, I know that's not what you're saying. I'm saying that that's a perfect example of toning something down for one thing. So like, toning down and I think sharing for them is specific, because say we get Clan Saxon and Empire and they get token sharing, their token sharing is not going to be, just an example. Their token sharing won't be limited by the clone keyword. Therefore, the issue is constricted to that one thing. But like, the thing is, like, Gar, I don't see how Gar's a boogeyman, but the thing is, like, I don't know what else you can do to Gar to take them off anymore. They've already been taxed.
Well, what I'm trying to say is the problem. If your guys' problem is inherently rule breaking, is that rule breaking is a problem. Well, there are things that aren't battle forces that break rules. Things that you guys like to play with. I think your guys' biggest problem is actually balance, and it has to do with the fact that it feels like some of these battle forces are way too overpowered, and that particularly for the past 2 years. There has been a battle force at the top of the heap that has been a boogeyman.
Well,
last year Blizzard, this year EXT, and I think that.
Let me clarify something real quick before you go forward. When I think Jared would agree with me. What I mean by breaking rules, I mean by breaking breaking standard rules for the original 4 factions, i.e. clone sharing, clone token sharing was innately part of what the clone faction does. Like BX, like CIS, their aim,
I just think you're
token
splitting hairs
chaining
here.
is no because
you're saying that some rule breaking is okay and some rule breaking isn't okay.
No, because
because my rule breaking is in this box and the pane is painted this way, whereas yours is painted
clarify something for me. In EXD, if I don't know why you would, but you take B1s. I don't even know if they can take B1s.
Well, yes, they can.
B1s. So B1s inside of EXD, if I order that one B1, he still chains to the next B1.
Right.
That's a regular standard that's a regular standard function for a CIS.
I just think like inherently the way the game works is by every single mini in the game has a keyword that in some way breaks a rule. That's literally how every single game ever is made. Is you say these are the rules, and then you say, okay, this is how things go if everything is normal. And then you say, but of course nobody plays in normal land because normal land's not fun. We're here to play a game. So everything gets some way to break rules. Like even something as stupid as the precise keyword on normal stormtroopers, you're breaking the rule. Instead of rolling 1 or 2 dice for an aim, you roll 3 dice.
Yeah, but that's different. That's different than that's precise on a unit versus an entire army getting free tokens off the rip for doing nothing. That's very different than getting to spend
like Shadow Collective.
Then getting to spend these surge tokens to extend your move on anything you want to do. Add dice to anything. Do anything.
Well,
like to add dice.
I'm gonna jump in here. All right, because we don't want to go too long, kind of going in circles at this point, right? We're gonna go to each person and then just give your final words on what
you're on final words. I still have 3 more things. Like,
well, go for it. I'm not saying like a couple words. You could say your piece about it, where you stand on it, or what you think about it. So we'll go with Jose first.
So I think that battle forces need to be removed from competitive play, just because they're by definition they weren't supposed to be, and I feel like their rules break way more everything, making it like I said, hurt other things. If battle forces would be limited to nerfs that were battle force specific, i.e.
Did he cut out for you?
I think he froze. Yeah, he froze.
All right.
All right. Go ahead, say your piece.
Do you want me? No. Do you want to go through
the example I have?
Hold on.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Continue what you're saying.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
That was weird. It said the internet connection like was unstable, and then you were like both like closed their eyes.
You made me think my computer froze for a minute.
Yeah. No. It's probably on me. My computer wants to update at the worst time. No. So if you're gonna implement like fixes to things, and an example being like for the pike ball, all the dodge tech could have the price increases, points increases, but have that be for when you're playing Shadow Collective. Don't let those points increases affect the standard Rebel army. If you're gonna do fixes like that, then yes, that makes a lot of sense. But my biggest fear is like for EXD is good. A lot of people are taking it. My biggest fear is them doing something crazy like, I don't know, a points increase to like something you guys are taking. And then that has a negative impact on CIS, which is already struggling. If they're gonna do fixes like that, I would be okay with battle forces. But if they're just gonna do like a band-aid and cover all, then I want them.
I think at the end of the day, the biggest problem that you guys are feeling right now is that the game has very infrequent balance patches, and when they come out, they oftentimes feel random. Like they're like AMG does not really understand what is performing well versus what is overperforming versus what is underperforming or performing super duper like completely garbage tier. And I think that at the end of the day, battle forces are just kind of something you can latch onto to be mad at. I think inherently battle forces are just fun. If I had my way, I'd have probably more. I think the best way to balance them actually is to say these core factions, yeah, they may be okay, but you know what? Why don't you play one of these 20 other different versions of Republic? right? Why don't we get the 212th, the Mace Windu people? I don't know I mean, we need Mace Windu first, right? But why don't we get like Yoda's clones? Why don't we get all the other clone factions, right? Why don't we get more stuff for CIS? I think you add more battle forces that gives more flexibility, and I think you break the rules more, because inherently breaking rules is what makes things more interesting. I do think that in the past, balancing battle forces has not been perfect. I think the battle force change for Blizzard was a great example of what should be done. You nerf the HRU, you change it so you can only run Commander Vader. That changes things within the battle force, but doesn't mess with normal Empire. But unless you're going to give some of these normal factions ways to sort of play against these battle forces, then I don't know what you can do. And if you want to make the battle forces so terrible that they don't show up in a competitive play, I guess that is also a solution. But I think at the end of the day, what needs to happen is the game just needs to be balanced more, and there needs to be quicker responses from AMG to a lot of stuff. Like the 12 to 18 months that they said, what that does is it makes it so that maybe their solution to a problem is this unit they're going to release in 6 months. Well, great. For those 6 months, whatever the thing is going to be completely OP, stomping the field. And that doesn't, and then what if that unit comes out and doesn't even change anything? And that one unit is only going to help the people who can play that one unit. And so to me, it's like the problem is with balance. Battle forces make it harder to balance. I won't argue that, but they're not the problem. They're not what ruined Legion. And Legion is fine overall anyways. And maybe AMG's right. Maybe Commandos and Range Troopers are going to push EXD out. They're not going to,
no.
But like not at all. But who knows? What would push EXD out is if aggressive force users could come back. So that's what really needs to happen. Anyways, what's your take, Jer?
To be honest, I think Shadow Collector does a great job at defeating EXD. But
yeah, that too.
My take is that I think Rebel and Empire should have their own special keyword, just like CIS and clones have, because I think that is a little bit of fair advantage that the clones do, or the clone era does, and the Civil War doesn't. I've always had a gripe with that, and I think they should fix that. I think battle forces are inherently fun. I do agree with that, but I think the only battle forces that should be are for units that necessarily don't fit into a faction. Shadow Collective is a great example of that. Is that Pikes? Where do you put Pikes? Where do you put Black Suns? Where do you put Commandos? And where do you put Shadow Collective Maul? Right. I like the old standard building the list because you're confined to ranks, and every faction is confined to those ranks. So it feels like it's a little bit more even playing field. You can clearly like do things like the Tempest Force, right? Whatever that one ATST that's named, I forget the name of it.
Mark One.
Thank you. You could put Entourage ATST to where you could still get 3 ATSTs, right? That could be on the card itself.
But what's the difference?
The difference to me is that it's in the faction list building, and it doesn't open up a window to make like EXD, for an example, where they get the 3 surges, like because you're confined to special rules making now. Like a good example is the Bright Tree Village. I wish they were just in the Rebel faction.
Yeah.
Right? Like they didn't need to be in their own special forces, and I didn't think they need to be in mercenaries. Now, there's a lot of fudge going around because were they actually rebels? No, but I mean, were Wookiees actually Republic? Was Maul actually in the CIS?
Well, in both those cases, the answer is yes, but we can talk about that off the pod. But
I don't think Maul was. There's a more case that Maul wasn't. But regardless,
okay.
I just
sure.
think
Off the pod.
Yeah, I just think I just like the old standard buildings. Where my gripe is, honestly, it's just like, hey, everyone's confined to these rules. Make your list. Units come out that break the rule all the time, and I agree with that. It's fun. Something's always going to be the top dog. But I don't know. So that's my piece about that.
Yeah, buff Empire, buff Rebels, nerf Republic. Nerf all the battle forces.
You can't nerf them anymore. They've already been.
Well,
nerfed.
see, here's the thing about
if
Republic.
the XD goes away, Republic is sweeping the floor.
The thing about Republic is they get the best of both worlds, right? They get red defense dice and a
surging red defense dice, mind you.
Well, I mean, arguably, you have to be strategic in getting it, right?
But it's fairly easy to get surging red.
I agree.
How many factions are running around with 3 snipers? How many?
And that doesn't change anything because you have force barrier.
Not all the time. Not all the time.
You know, and you have heavy cover, so those snipers are getting like 1 or 2 shots off a game.
So the one time you saw me use force barrier is the only time I ever use force barriers when I run Anakin and Obi. I don't run Anakin and Obi together often.
So you're saying that people could beat you with snipers, but that doesn't mean they can beat Republic with
snipers. No. So the thing is, like somebody a while ago made a fantastic, I think it was Dashes that made a fantastic point. When Republic was going crazy, Cassian had just dropped, and Dash is like, you think about it this way, all these Republic players are playing phase 2s. Cassian pills off, 1 to 2, you've already made your points value back in that alone. And he's just talking about Cassian. My thing is, you got to remember that, everything has a natural predator, but when the ecosystem is messed up, you're going to have a list that does really well because the predators are gone. So when Gar was getting the shit stomped out of him is when there was a lot of range 5 Pierce, a lot of snipers, a lot of Iden, a lot of Cassian, a lot of all this stuff, because it didn't matter how much you hid. Eventually you had to come out, and those dodges didn't matter because high velocity. They didn't matter because Iden and Cassian could rank that stuff up. It didn't matter because K2 would get in there and blow you up. You had ways.
The way the rules are right now with cover, snipers are effectively useless. Like an Empire sniper is on average getting 1 hit on its dice. It needs 2 to do any damage, which means you have to roll really well to get anything in, right? If with an aim, it's 1.5. So you have to roll, and that's just Empire. I know some of them are better than others. Like Echo's has much better of a chance getting a wound in, right? But the problem isn't that Republic needs these snipers to kill him, because those snipers can't kill him unless you change cover rules. So, and even if you did, right, even if you made it so that all the snipers get sharpshooter 2, you're still talking not a lot of wounds over the course of a game, but I don't know.
So my take is that
once they lose 1 or 2 units, I mean, they don't, I don't know.
My hot take is that white save armies are suffering the most. And I think white save armies should be able to get to 9 and 10x, and that red save armies should be restricted to maximum 8. That's my hot take.
Ugh.
Yeah, but Empire's already probably second worst, if not worst faction right now, and they're red save. So I don't know if that's the problem.
I mean, the only reason why they're the worst is because XD is performing so well in CIS. I think that's
Republic also just obliterates.
Well, I think that's what's shattering. I think that's what's shattering CIS's performance is EXD. That's it.
Right, but again, there are CIS lists that do very well, even not including EXD.
And there's Empire lists also that do very well that are not EXD.
Not to the same extent, but yes,
that's an argument to be made. But
I think at the high, and again, I know I play Empire and I just won a tournament, so me saying Empire sucks kind of sounds like I'm being a dick, right? But when it comes to those high level games, Republic beats Empire, and droids played well. Like a Maul can obliterate Empire. You'd agree with that, right?
Right, but
right? So Maul does, Republic does. I mean, the only thing Empire feels good against is is Rebels, and even then, like if Rebels is playing the right bit of jank.
Okay, aside from EXD, you don't think Empire does good against CIS?
I think that, I mean, depending on the list, I don't think it's that they don't do well. I think it's that CIS has enough wounds a lot of the time. Again, it comes, so much of this just comes down to who you're playing.
See, and this is
all that stuff. But
this is what I love right here is that we're unsure what's doing really well against each other, but the moment you enter in a battle force, you're just like, oh yeah, of course it beats. Like that's frustrating. We all know Republic's doing well regardless of a battle force or not, We don't know how the other factions are doing because they haven't really seen them perform. But we do know their battle forces are performing really well.
And I think that's a good point from you, right? Why you don't like them, right? It's
right.
And because like when you're preparing a list, it's not just you have to beat these factions, it's can you beat the melee SKUs?
Right.
And the melee SKUs are both battle forces, it's Ewoks and Wookiees. And by the way, those are different SKUs you have to be able to beat. Even though they're both melee SKUs. And you have to beat the armor SKU from the triple ATSD. And you have to beat the range SKU and just the completely OP SKU from the
But all that stuff comes down to how often they're being taken. Like Tempest Force wasn't taken like how many people took Tempest Force to Worlds? Like less than 10 out of the hundreds of players.
I hate that you guys keep bringing up Worlds. Like, don't get me wrong.
Any event.
Worlds is a really, really competitive tournament. And honestly, the best players are going to bring the really, really thing that's doing really, really well. Because that's what I would do to try to win the Worlds tournament, right?
Well, yeah, but
if you were to broaden it, right? I would think you would see Tempest Force. I think you would see Wookiee Defenders.
But not in enough high enough number to dictate you worrying about it.
Sure.
I mean, just going to Kubla, right? My fear was Commandos and EXD, and then there was no EXD there, so I lucked out, right? Like if I fought EXD, I wasn't thinking great. I still think Commandos beat Empire unless the Empire player does some crazy shit. So I don't know.
It's just like I said, going back to, I think all the factions other than Republic are really suffering and are being overshadowed, and I think that's where it really comes down to.
And yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's a balance issue though, not an issue with battle forces existing. Though battle forces do make you have to think about so many more things. I will not disagree with that.
Rob's point for keeping battle forces is so Gar doesn't get any better. If Gar wasn't the case, he'd probably be like, get rid of battle forces.
Gar is is now the second faction I own, so like I could swap to Gar at any moment.
You should. It's not easy,
but like
it's not easy.
If you think about it,
I think it's easier than Empire, but that's a hot take.
Oh, it's I agree with you. Republic's easy mode. Republic is hands down.
If you're smart and strategic.
No. A beginner player can play Republic and do really well
because you just do the thing.
Yeah, all you're doing is point and shoot. That's all you do in Republic. Point shoot. That's it. There's not a whole lot of
strategic. So okay, I think Republic. It's weird. It has a lower floor than other factions. And it has a very high ceiling for difficulty. But I think that the middle ground puts you at a much better spot than a middle ground for the other factions, if that makes sense, right? Like I'm not saying that like the super high playing Republic is easy, but what I'm saying is if you're like an 80 percentile player in any of the factions, you want to be in Republic because you're going to win way more games if you're an 80th percentile player.
That makes sense.
But the only reason, so I harp back on this is that like you guys bring up the cover situation. Okay, cool. Even back in the day, you made it a key point with the old cover rules to make sure you had heavy cover from separate angles, all angles, whatever. And snipers were still a lot of times more than not forced to shoot through heavy cover, and they were still eating Gar for dinner.
Okay, so hold on. The sniper conversation, in my opinion, back in the day, all snipers were before. Okay, when they had a limited range, that's when they were in the meta. When they nerf it to be range 5, then they were just act padding. That's what, in my opinion. Then now you have the inefficient because.
But great against red saves, which is what the common thing is.
I know. I still think act padding.
I didn't play a couple years ago, but my understanding is the biggest change that's happened in Republic in the past couple years is swapping from we're going to take extra aims and we're going to shoot you off the board to we're going to take extra dodges and all this defense tech and just survive through all this stuff. And I know that doesn't work against snipers, but force barrier still does. And I'm sorry, but you're only taking
10 points is 10 points is a lot to take in Rebel or Gar.
And you have some really cheap force users compared to Empire.
Well, even then, 10 points means nothing unless you kill the whole unit, right? That's what's frustrating with that argument is like, sure, you kill phase 2, you get your points value worth it, but that means nothing unless you kill the whole unit.
Yeah.
So it's just, I just think that, go ahead. I lost my train of thought. I was going
No,
solo.
I just don't think that snipers are really as scary as you make them out to be.
They're not.
I mean, like, I think the only sniper, like, I'll put it into perspective. The scariest
they're
sniper
not
in the game.
now.
Well, now, sure. The scariest
Now
sniper in the game is Cassian, because he can actually get with marksman actually get 1 crit every single turn pretty consistently, if not 2 crits.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still 1 to 2 damage a turn if you don't barrier it. And again, that's a huge if, because most Republic gun lines are running barrier. And hell, you have Katarn now, so you just say, all right, well, you did two wounds. No, you didn't. Or you got one crit in. Haha, shield token. Like, what are you gonna do against my shield token?
If you burn a shield token and a Katarn, I've made my money.
You don't have to pop the Katarn because you're popping the shield token, is my point.
But if I'm shooting 2 crits,
well, you wouldn't pop Katarn then, because it's only 1 coming in.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. Right, with Cassian, if all Cassian does is I flip my shield, I take 1 mini. I mean, that's good, because now they're down to 3 and they're shooting less. But still,
here's my takeaway. And I'm like you, Rob. I have a 1 sample size, and I tend my sample size to be my more productive competitive event. I ran into
I mean, I'll put it this way: you didn't play Gar for a year, and you still got 3 and 3 at LVO. So
yes, but a list that I played that I have more than 50 reps with, like that's you never forget. It's like riding a bike for me. I'm never gonna forget how my Anakin Pike list runs. My Anakin Pike list runs like a specific way because I don't have Padme. You can argue that my list would be better if I had Padme, but I'm not gonna go there. But anyways, my point being is, like, last year's LVO, like, I took the list that I have my reps with, and I faced 2 snipers. One was an Echo that I blew off the table because my opponent made that one mistake. And then the one sniper that beat me was Cassian. And yes, I didn't have force barrier. But I had all the heavy cover in the world. Yeah, but
that doesn't matter against crits.
It didn't. But what I'm saying is, like, he had an immense amount of Pierce tech, and once again, the things that have Pierce tech aren't really being taken because of where the game is right now. I think that if you brought back those certain, and I've had this debate with Jared before, you bring back a unit's natural born predator into a list, and back in, like, you're gonna have a change. And it's probably never going to happen. Like, I'm not, like, I agree with you. Snipers aren't scary now. You know why? Because I don't see them. Why don't I see them? Because, like you had mentioned before, they're just going to get blown off the table by everything else that's out there.
Well, to be fair, you do see them in EXD, right? They're there.
Yeah, and turns out they're really good.
Arguably, Clone Commandos, right? That's a sniper, right?
Range 4.
Pseudo.
Isn't it Pierce 1 or no?
It's lethal one.
Lethal 1. But I mean, consistent aims. Like, in my opinion, when it comes to the faction, it's how easy is it versus how strategic you have to be with it. Like, in my opinion, Republic's simply point and shoot. Then you got CIS, which needs, and it's a higher skill because you got to do your full order control. I think that's the only real thing it's got going for it. Rebels relies on its gimmick heroes, right? And then Empire is kind of a point and click, a point and shoot as well. So that's why I think Empire and clones are easier to fall back on. I think you can make the most mistakes with those factions than the other factions.
I don't feel like that.
I don't disagree with that either, with that much. We are way off topic at this point.
For the record, you know who balances this meta? What single unit would balance this meta out? Qui-Gon.
I don't see how, but if you want Qui-Gon,
he's Qui-Gon. He's the chosen one.
So anyway,
well, not really.
Yeah, we should wrap this.
I just want Qui-Gon. We'll wrap that up.
We should wrap this up.
To this was way tamer than what we were saying before.
I thought we were gonna
explode. If we hadn't talked before the pod had started, this would have been a lot spicier, by the way. So maybe we should stop. We don't usually talk before either, so maybe we shouldn't. So it is spicy.
Yeah, stop it, JR. Stop bringing order to
you guys were going at it. Don't tell me. You guys were attacking each other. I was like, whoa, let's not.
I was not attacking.
We're all friends here.
Yeah, let's all be cordial.
To sort of, in conclusion, it's not battleforces that are the problem. It's other stuff. They're fine. Add more. That's all I gotta say.
That's Rob's opinion, and I disagree.
Double disagree.
Yeah, you never said your opinion at the end.
I did.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah. So it's like, don't get me wrong, battle forces are fun. They're really fun, and I enjoy them.
Damn, he's dropping all those F-bombs. You're breaking up.
But I just think that it's just competitive. It's not that fun. But anyways, thank you guys for joining me. I hope all your listeners got some spicy intakes on it. And thank you guys for listening out there. So anyways.
VetFest, July 13th.
Yes, VetFest, July 13th. Let's get the games on. And those in the league, let's put our league games. And we'll see you guys.
Coming for you, Daniel.